Alright, I'm going to be doing this short rant now. Um, so recently there's been a video talking about Gothicmade, which is the anime movie which screens occasionally by Mamoru Nagano, the creator of the mecha manga epic, The 5-Star Stories. And so this guy made this video, right? And in it he said it's near impossible to find 5-star stories online, and it wasn't released in English ever, which is false. It was a mistake. And from watching the video, it seems he genuinely enjoyed 5-star stories. He wanted more people to know about it, and that's a positive, right? Apparently Twitter, or X, or fucking whatever, doesn't think so. Apparently Retro Anime YouTube Twitter fucking bullied this guy so hard that he privated his video. And I'm gonna just say a moment that is so fucking stupid. And fucking look, okay. I understand that it's frustrating when people get facts wrong in a video about a franchise you love, but like, making a dude private his video, you're costing fans of 5-star stories. I saw comments under that video of people wanting to check out the manga because they thought it looked cool, and that's a positive. So now that video is privated, and now we're probably not going to get any more fans of the 5-star stories manga, so no one wins. No one's going to win. And it's just toxic. I don't... You can call me a martyr or whatever, stupid. It's just toxic to do that. Like, just... Someone is trying to introduce people to an obscure manga, and make no mistake, 5-star stories is niche. A majority of modern anime fans will never experience it in their life. So since he's a Demon Slayer channel and he talks about more modern anime, he was trying to get into that, and they keep giving him shit for it. And the reason they give him shit for it is because he said he couldn't find it online, and that it's near impossible to find. Apparently, near impossible equates to these retro anime tubers who are saying it's lost media, which he never said. I don't know why they think he would say that. I don't know how you can say near impossible and say it's lost media. He had fucking clips of it in his video, guys. Like, come on. He's not saying it's lost media. Like, that's just stupid of you to assume that. It's like, also kind of naive to assume that. He never said that. He said it's near impossible to find, and he can't find it, and the only way he could find it was on Archive Raw, which is how I could find it until I started looking at other sites, and I found it on Kiss Anime and stuff. It used to be on Anime Suge and 9anime and stuff, but after the Great Piracy Purge, 5-star stories was completely wiped from those sites for some reason. I don't know why, but like, there's no way to watch it on any of the big piracy sites. It's not on Crunchyroll or streaming. The DVD is out of print, and you can torrent it. And that's the main thing they're doing. They're saying modern anime fans can never torrent. And I'm going to be brutally honest with you, I'm not torrenting 5-star stories. Well, before I get into that, let's go into this first. Apparently, they're saying this video is creating animosity towards Nagano for some reason, which I have no fucking clue how you can come to that conclusion. Like, he never said anything bad about Nagano, but apparently, since he won't release Gothicmade, that's just gonna make fans think he's a stuck-up prick. And make no mistake, Nagano is a genius of mecha design. All his mecha designs are great. The reason I love 5-star stories more than Gundam is because he fully embraces the Leiji Matsumoto-esque poetic space opera that Gundam never had. Like, I'm not too into Gundam. There's a few Gundams on my watch list. I have like 120 anime on my backlog to watch, but what I like about 5-star stories is he's taking the sort of operatic feel of something like Galaxy Express or Harlock or Yamato. He's putting it into a mecha setting. There's like, if you read the manga, there's entire like pages of like poetic dialogue about the future and the galaxies and mortar heads and the 5-star stories itself. It's really cool. And then there's the fact that there's a massive fuck ton of lore to the 5-star stories. And that's the biggest thing I think people are getting confused about is I think what was I gonna say? The 5-star stories is like it has a barrier of entry. Forgot what I was gonna say. So, and lots of people are gonna say it's making animosity towards Nagano, and that 5-star stories is his magnum opus, and yeah, it's gonna harm him, and it is his magnum opus. But here's the thing: Nagano can be up his own ass. If I'd like to compare it to anyone, and I know it's going to piss people off apparently because they don't like him for some reason. I don't see any people talk favorably about this man anymore, even though I love most of the anime he did. That's Yoshinobu Nishizaki. He did Space Battleship Yamato with Leiji Matsumoto, but that's a whole other can of worms over who owns what aspects of the franchise. He did Blue Noah and Odin Photon Sailor Starlight, which people hate that movie. I think that movie is great. I think it's dumb space opera fun that I desperately want more of. And so what I'm trying to say is Yoshinobu Nishizaki was a very ambitious man. A lot of his ideas never even got into Yamato because Leiji Matsumoto had to filter them out. And most of them did. But I'm saying like stuff like Gessler's War, which was going to be a sequel to Yamato, that never happened. Yamato 2150 or whatever it was called, the sequel, only got 4 episodes before the production collapsed in on itself and it never finished. He tried to revive. He tried making Yamato Resurrection for 20 years and it didn't even release until 2009, and even then. Odin Photon Sailor Starlight was going to be a trilogy of 3 feature films, and it only got 1 because he spent so much money, the production cost went down. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Nagano is very ambitious. He made the timeline of 5-star stories so utterly massive that he's never going to finish it, and he admits he's probably never going to finish it, and that's fine. I think that's part of the charm of 5-star stories, is that the timeline is so big and sprawling that one simple manga can't contain it. I think that's part of the charm, but I think what these retro anime tubers don't understand is that's the biggest barrier of entry for modern anime fans to get into this series is it doesn't end. It's never going to end. It's kind of like Leiji Matsumoto in The Ring of Time. It's never going to end. The timeline is all up to Nagano's whims and really however the fuck he feels like. The story of 5-star stories really hasn't progressed much in like the last 6 years of the manga. And that's the thing with 5-star stories is sometimes you'll get one part of the timeline. That's the other thing that's the barrier of entry is the chronology is all fucked. He doesn't tell it in direct order. He just jumps around to timelines and stuff whenever he feels like it. And that's part of the charm too, is you get to see different parts of the massive timeline he made. And it's always fun guessing how long is he going to focus on this part of the timeline, or will he just randomly decide for this chapter, I'm going to focus on this part that's never happened before yet. And I think that's the most agonizing part of being a fan of 5-star stories, is all this cool shit that happens in the timeline is probably never ever going to be drawn, like the entire Will Galaxy era, which you don't know is basically the final timeline of 5-star stories. There's the AD era, the Joker Star Cluster timeline, which is the main timeline, which it takes place in the Will era, where the main character basically unites the universe in an intergalactic war that ends in the timeless infinite year of 7777. Yeah, it's pretty metal. I think that's why more people should watch the series or read the manga for cool shit like that. But again, we're never going to see people like Amoretsu or Lychis liberating a planet and then hiding the Gothicmade or Knight of Gold for whatever in 1940s Poland. I'd love to see that entire chapter drawn, but I don't think it's ever going to happen because Nagano just does whatever the fuck he feels like. And that's his right, it's his baby. But I'm saying that's the biggest layer of entry. I mean, Nagano is the same type of guy who said if he wanted to properly localize 5-star stories, he'd have to do it entirely in 16th century classical British English. and the same guy who made a movie with only 4 animators, basically. I don't know if that's hyperbolic or not, but he himself states it was only 4 animators working on it for the entire, like, 5-year production. Um, it must have started in 2008, and then Gothicmade came out in 2012, so at least 5 years of production. And then said, actually, we're not releasing this on home video. You can only go see it in theaters in 4K with Dolby Atmos surround sound, and it'll only screen occasionally. Which is like, yeah, but 4K does exist on TVs now. Like, he's an auteur, and people don't really understand or seem to like that. And like, don't get me wrong, I love Nagano, but yes, he is 100. He can be up his own ass in terms of the way, not the way he wants to tell his story. I like the way he tells it, just the way he goes about things. And I do really love his stance on localization and how he wants it to be perfect for each country, so there's no meddling with his intellectual property that's based. But yeah, it's crazy. It's that's the barrier of entry. Nagano is ambitious, and and sometimes, like Yoshinobu Nishizaki, that ambition can catch up to him, and it doesn't catch up to him nearly as much as Nishizaki did. I mean, Nagano wasn't arrested on gun and drug charges and then put in prison for at least 6 years, I believe. I can't quite remember. But yeah, that's the biggest barrier of entry, is just how ambitious and grand the story is, and the fact that it'll never be finished. Most modern anime fans like reading ongoing series like One Piece with 1,000 chapters. Five-star Stories only gets 100 pages a chapter. I don't even think in the 30 years it's been running it's even broken 100 chapters yet. It might be at like 70 or 80. I don't even think it's at 90. Like, Five-star Stories has never reached 100 chapters. And who knows, maybe in the next fucking decade or 20 years it'll reach that milestone. But it's a monthly manga magazine. It's in a monthly not manga magazine even. It's a monthly anime news magazine that's been running it each month. And it's really only the people who build the kits that are keeping the fan base alive, because that's the only real merch he can make off of it besides the manga volumes and new type sales is the kits. And if you go on the Five-Star Stories subreddit, everyone loves the kits. That's the main reason. And lots of people are saying, well, you could just torrent it. And this goes back to what I was saying. I don't want to wait. I don't want to ruin the experience by that. I'm with Nagano on. I don't know him, but I think I'm on the same page as him, saying you wouldn't want to experience fucking Gothicmade on a computer. You'd want to go to a theater and see it. You wouldn't want to experience the Five-Star Stories anime film on a computer. Like, come on now, dude. Really? You want to watch it on a TV. You want to watch it on a TV in a dark room and let the mecha action take hold of you. A lot of people are saying, well, yeah, you can torrent it on the TV by just plugging your computer into the TV. I'll show you my TV, actually. You can just plug your computer into the TV. That's my TV. So yeah, I'm gonna have to freaking... I'll have to take my computer up there, unplug my Xbox or my PlayStation 4, and then just plug the computer in, lower it down, and then plug it somewhere into my HDMI cord, and just keep my computer up there as it plays. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. That's too cumbersome. And there's much easier alternatives, i.e., you can literally just go on a fucking website like Anime Suge or Kiss Anime and play it on there. It'll come out in Blu-ray quality. A lot of people are saying, well, that's going to cause web compression. I'm like, have you tried it? You haven't tried it. Just try it. It does work. I watched all of Armor Trooper Bottoms that way. I watched all 50 episodes of Armor Trooper Bottoms on Anime Suge via web browser on my TV and my PS4. Or my Xbox One, pardon me. And I watched all of it that way, and it never lagged. I literally watched all the Bottom shows this way, and they all worked fine. They were all Blu-ray quality. It all worked. Just try it. Don't make assumptions about it. Just try it. I'm not getting up on my fucking podium and trying to set up a goddamn computer up on a balcony. So, yeah, that's the entire reason I did that. Other than that, I don't know. It's like, you wouldn't want to watch, imagine this, like, you're watching Arcadia of My Youth, one of my favorite anime movies. You torrent it, you torrent it, right? And you also torrent Princess Mononoke, that's another one of my favorite anime movies. And what you decide to do is, you put, you put, you try torrenting it on a computer, basically. And you watch it on a computer that way. There's not a snowflake's chance in hell I'm doing that. Because those movies, I think literally watching them on a computer ruins the experience. You gotta get them physically, which they both are, or you gotta frickin' go on a piracy site and watch it that way. And I've watched Arcadia of My Youth that way twice. It works. Don't assume it doesn't work. It works. Just try it. Just don't believe what random people online are telling you. It's just toxic. It's just toxic. Someone made a video about how nice 5-star stories is, and I want to share it with people. Now we're just shitting on him because he can't torrent, and apparently everyone else thinks it's lost media. Yeah, never change, anime community. Never fucking change. You just literally cost a few fans, and now it has 12,000 likes, and it's Kenny Launderdale doing it, and he does anime reviews. Mercury Falcon does anime reviews. I don't agree with all their takes. I agree with a lot of them, but, like, I don't fucking know, man. Anatube is just such a fucking shithole. Yeah.